Chapter 9. Swallowed by the Game. By the end of January, the ad campaign finally went live. First, the brand logo appeared, then the intro, the music, and the two of them. On a boat, wind in their hair, laughter, that kind of freedom that looks perfect on screen and is almost always a little bit of a lie. Nina, next to Sarah, worked like a premium filter. Everything around her looked sharper, more polished, more carefully staged. Funny enough, Sarah wasn't even supposed to be there. But she had that thing you can't teach, the need to be in the center. If not in the spotlight, then right next to it. So she did whatever it took to get into the frame. Supporting role, but still a star. Raphael sat down with them to watch it. "This one's from Jeff's yacht," Nina said casually. Jeffrey was a billionaire in his 60s. They'd met through Nina. She'd once taken them to a party on his yacht. Raphael exchanged a few words with him, polite at first, then more interesting, until they ended up swapping numbers. A good connection. Sarah, on the other hand, met his wife, Victoria, a model more than 30 years younger than Jeff. But before they ever set foot on the yacht, Nina had already explained how the arrangement worked. Jeff liked to have options, and he didn't hide it. He lived with Victoria in Miami, but he also kept a second girl in Aspen and a third in Texas. When he was there on business, they were available. When he wasn't, they flew to Miami to entertain him. Whenever he felt like something stronger than his usual Miami girls. "Fuck, you have no idea how good he was in bed. And he's big," Nina added, in the tone of someone giving a weather update. Sarah didn't even blink. Still watching the screen, she said, half joking, "Rafa's got decent equipment too." "Really? Maybe you should use it more often," he shot back with a laugh. And for a moment, he wondered what exactly they talked about when he wasn't around. "You know, Jeff put 15 grand toward my Porsche," Nina went on, almost sentimentally. "Just like that?" Sarah asked, genuinely intrigued. "Just like that. I did a couple of tricks for him in bed. Then when I mentioned I was going to the dealership the next day, he asked what car I wanted. I said I was a little short, but had my eye on a 911. He said he'd cover the difference." Nina laughed, clearly pleased with herself. "And I told him we don't even know each other that well, and he said I should imagine how much he'd give me if we got to know each other better." She added it theatrically, with a wink. It amused Raphael, who had started treating her stories like a grotesque guide to the Miami lifestyle. Nina was simply showing them how this city worked and what passed as normal here. After the yacht episode aired, Raphael got up to take a call. The opening of his car showroom was getting close. The biggest showroom in the state. New inventory, display crew, VIP list, catering, all of January mapped out in spreadsheets. It consumed him, so Sarah usually drove the kids to school and activities on her own. And to avoid sitting around the rest of the day, she started something new. "You'll pass that exam," he said later that evening as they went over her notes on the laptop. "You've got the head for it. You just don't like tests. One bad result doesn't mean anything." "I hate tests," she corrected him. She had a second attempt at the real estate exam ahead of her, something a few of her friends in Miami were doing. The next day, she failed again. Barely. She booked a third attempt for the following week. "Let's drive through Wynwood," Raphael said the next day when he picked her up from the hair salon. "I heard they've got great tacos here," he added. They pulled up to an unremarkable spot. It looked like a fast food place. Inside, bright lights, steel, plastic, the smell of lime and grilled corn. The people looked like a mix of every possible story. A dressed-up couple on a work break, a group of friends in sneakers, a guy in a Hawaiian shirt sipping a Corona with lime. "Here?" Sarah raised an eyebrow. "Doesn't look that great." "It looks normal." Raphael ordered 6 tacos with cactus and beef. "Not everything has to be Instagram." All right, let's see. They sat at a high table. The first bite knocked the sour skepticism right out of her. Warm tortilla, juicy meat, onion and cilantro, the sharp hit of lime snapping her back. She took another bite. And another. All right, they're fucking great, she admitted. Place is average, but the tacos are insane. Sometimes that's how it is, Rafa said, ordering 2 Coronas. The best things aren't served on silver platters. They stepped outside. Wynwood was all about murals, alive, loud, bursting with color. Roses the size of windows, faces painted like they were about to speak, colors that didn't know silence. Raphael turned to her, narrowed his eyes. Come here, stand by this, he said, pulling out his phone. You look good. I'll take some photos for your Instagram. He shot them patiently, carefully. Half profile, hand on her waist, hair thrown over one side, laughing with her head tilted down. She was a little stiff, but she tried. The sides, everything could be fixed. Later that day, she edited the photos in an app, added more volume to her hair, softened her nose, smoothed her skin. Then she posted them. The hearts started pouring in. Comments from fake accounts, but also messages from different guys. Sexy. So hot. She reacted to some with a like or a winking emoji. But one notification caught her attention. A like from Jeff. The same one whose yacht they had filmed the episode on. The one they'd partied with later, alongside Raphael, surrounded by millionaires and models. His profile was curated. A yacht, mountains, a private jet. In a photo from September, the boat cut through the water like glass, and he stood there in a white linen shirt. She followed him right after they met. Raphael did the same. Jeff followed Raphael immediately, but not her. Only after she reacted to a few of his stories did he follow Sarah back. And now he liked her post. Maybe he'd make a move. Hey, haven't seen you in a while. Maybe we should grab a coffee, she typed, and hit send. Silence. A few days later, she liked his story again, and again, until finally he replied. Feel like coming by for a drink on the yacht? Sarah put her phone down for a second. Jeff, a billionaire whose wife was a model, was inviting her onto his yacht, alone, just like he invited Nina, which meant he wanted to fuck her too. She felt her ego rise, and her appetite. She'd been listening to what Nina was doing, who she was with, and she wanted to try it too. She remembered that one line Nina had said once. It was fun fucking him. Sure, why not, she replied. Thursday, 11 a.m.? Works. She passed the exam on Wednesday, 3rd attempt. Finally, just a dry passed on the screen. Rafa helped her, cheating or not, didn't matter. It was done. Now she could reward herself for the effort. That evening there was champagne and setting up a new Instagram account, this time professional. Sarah Real Estate. Raphael handled that part while Sarah looked at what to add at the start. He gave her 100,000 followers right away. Nina sent a voice note. Congrats, babe. We're going for a drink at the Four Seasons tomorrow to celebrate. On Thursday morning, she told Raphael she had lunch plans with the girls, so she'd be back later. Don't forget to post on the new profile, he said, flipping through the showroom opening schedule. After dropping the kids at school, she texted Jeff right away from the car. Today at 11 a.m., still on? Her phone lay on the seat next to her. The screen stayed dark. 10 minutes passed, then 20. She checked again. Nothing. Only after more than 30 minutes did a reply come in. No explanation, just an address and a short line. See you soon. The marina smelled like salt and money. Ropes tapped against hulls, sunlight bouncing off masts and chrome. Jeff stood where they'd agreed to meet, wearing a white shirt open at the top, a heavy gold watch on his wrist. "Hey, Sarah," he smiled, effortless. The Pershing 140, the yacht she knew from loud party nights, was calm now. Quiet, almost mysterious in the silence. The deck gleamed, spotless, soft leather seating in dark brown. Victoria wasn't there, but she had to know. Their relationship was an arrangement. He paid, she stayed, and didn't make problems. From the outside, it looked a certain way. People envied her for living a rich life next to a billionaire, and envied him because his wife was a model more than 30 years younger. But anyone who understood the game knew it was the natural order. You have money, you have women who want that money more than anything. Simple. Victoria could expect respect from Jeff and some level of loyalty, but loyalty didn't include that kind of entertainment. She was the one he lived with, showed up with in public, traveled with every few weeks. But entertainment was entertainment. And she provided it too. She invited her friends to parties on the yacht, and he invited those same friends to bed, in different combinations. There were rumors Victoria took part as well, threesomes, foursomes. Maybe she liked it, or maybe she wanted some control. After all, she couldn't be jealous of his dick, but his attention, that was different. Jeff didn't talk much. He watched. He gave Sarah space to fill. She was wearing black leather pants and a low-cut top. Her hair was pulled back into a tight, slick, high ponytail. "It looks good on you, that hairstyle," he said, not looking too long, and poured them each a drink. They didn't toast. There was nothing to toast. "Tell me what you want," he said, like it wasn't a question, but a key turning in a lock. Sarah didn't answer right away. She only knew she wanted to be someone else, not a plain girl. She wanted to be seductive, like Laura in 365 Days. She took a step. So did he. No surprise, just an understanding without words. "Do something to me I don't expect. We both know why I'm here." His hand on her back didn't ask. It told her there would be no gentleness. There was a rhythm to him, the kind a man has when he knows what works, which details push things forward. He was sure, precise, and he took what he wanted. They didn't talk. In moments like this, language isn't for talking. First, he undressed her without hesitation, revealing her body. For a moment, he looked at her shapely figure and her round, firm breasts without much emotion, as if he had seen it all many times before. Nothing extraordinary. A body like any other, good, well kept. Then he began to undress himself. First his shirt, then his trousers. "Undress me completely," he said to Sarah, meaning his underwear. It was the last remaining piece before they got down to it. He felt the hesitation in her movements, so he made sure he would lead. Nothing here would surprise him. There was no poetry in it. He squeezed her breasts, kissed her neck, until his hand settled on her shoulder and pressed it slightly down. He made it clear, "Get down, take him in your mouth, show what you can do." She hesitated for a fraction of a second. Why was someone directing her, and she was supposed to follow orders? She had never been treated this way before, with such a cold, severe gaze and a touch without tenderness. But there was something exciting in it, and there was no way out. She took him into her mouth. At first uncertain, but after a moment she got into it, recalling all the porn she'd seen. She tried to be good at it, no, perfect. That was her ambition now, to show she was just as good as the other girls. She sucked him with enthusiasm, as deep as she could. Jeff's face revealed nothing. His dick was hard, but his expression remained cold and empty. After a few minutes, he grabbed her again, hard, pulled her up, then threw her onto the bed. She didn't fully know what to do, so she followed his commands. He positioned her with her head at the edge of the bed, then pushed his dick deep into her throat again. He wanted to test her limits, see who she was, what she could do. She couldn't. She started choking, pressing down with her teeth. So he pulled back and told her to lie on her stomach. He entered her from behind without a condom, and she didn't even blink. Sarah tried to look confident, to show she knew exactly what she was doing. That rough sex was easy for her. She thought about Nina's stories, about how she seduced new men. She tried to be like her. Meanwhile, Jeff kept turning her into different positions, showing off. And it turned her on. Each position lasted a few minutes, and before Sarah could settle into the rhythm, he was already changing it. When he got close, he pulled her down again and told her to finish him with her mouth. The closer he got, the deeper he pushed into her throat. He came in her mouth, and she swallowed. The first time in her life, barely holding back her gag reflex. She couldn't risk doing it worse than the other girls. "Good," he said, more to the room than to her, then handed her water. Sarah fixed her hair, pulled her top and pants back on. Everything fell back into place. Almost everything. She reached into her bag for her phone. 2 missed calls from Raphael. A spike of stress hit her hard. "What the fuck am I doing?" she thought, panic rising. She couldn't take risks like this. She couldn't give him any reason to suspect anything. She texted immediately. "Everything's fine. I'll be back soon." Then she rushed to leave. Jeff walked her out. They didn't kiss goodbye. What had just happened wasn't romance. It was a physical exchange. She walked to her car with a mix of satisfaction, like she had achieved something, and tension, hoping Raphael wouldn't notice anything. In the rearview mirror, she saw the streets heated by the midday sun. Miami winked at her in the sharp light. She turned on the radio, whatever was playing, and drove home, to her family. She was ready to pretend everything was fine. But first, she took a long, hot shower, as if she could wash off everything that had just happened and return to her normal life without a trace.